Okay, good morning. Thank you for coming to Saturday morning meditation. We'll get started with 3 7-line prayer. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sardom pola yatsen chogi ngorupe pemajong ne jesurak kordu kandro mangpokor ketki jesudak drupki jinji lop chia sheksu so guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sardom pola yatsen chogi ngorupe pemajong ne jesurak kordu kandro mangpokor ketki jesudak drupki jinji lop chia sheksu so guru pema city home. Organ yogi num jansam pemage sardom pola yatsen chogi ngorupne pemajong ne jesurak kordu kandro mangpokor ketki jesudak drupki jinji lop chia sheksu so guru pema city home. So let's take a moment to remember our motivation for being here today and to generate compassion. So we can make the wish that our meditation together here today will bring immeasurable benefit not only to ourselves but to all sentient beings. And the meditation that we'll be doing today is from Jetsuma's book, Stabilizing the Mind. And this is a meditation, we're going to be doing a meditation on our breath. You can also do this same meditation focusing your attention on a flower or a candle or an image of the Buddha. So if you would like to try that, you can do the same instructions that I'm giving, but you could put your attention on an object instead of your breath if you'd like. So Jetsuma has taught that meditation is the natural state of mind when it's relaxed, stable, and open. And meditating in this way trains our mind to be both calm and relaxed and alert and wakeful. The point of this meditation is to create space in our minds. Normally our minds don't have very much space, and so we just feel really full of our emotions and thoughts, and we kind of mindlessly move through our day, just propelled from one habitual reaction to another habitual reaction, like a ping pong ball, like bouncing around a room without stopping. And this meditation, by putting some space in the mind, it gives us some room between action and reaction, so that we're not just acting out of our habitual tendencies, but we actually have a little bit of space for compassion and generosity and wisdom to come in and maybe help us make different choices. And this space helps us to balance our emotions. Normally our emotions are so, our experience of them is so in your face, you kind of can't help but react. Like if you're really angry and anger is just filling up the whole room, all of your experience, how can you not react to that anger? It's very difficult. But if you have some space, then the anger exists in that space, but it's not all consuming. And so that makes it easier to balance that emotion and to respond to it in healthier ways. And this creating space in the mind is also the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. So So we'll just take a comfortable seat. You can sit in a chair like I am, or you can sit cross-legged on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure that your feet are on the floor so that you're grounded. If you're sitting on a cushion on the floor, you might want a good cushion to support your back, because it's important that we have a straight back during this meditation. You can imagine a thread going up your spine and out the top of your head, and you can just pull that thread a little bit so that your spine is very straight. And your shoulders are open. We're not collapsing in on ourselves. We're sitting straight and tall with open shoulders. We have room to breathe. Our rib cage has room to breathe. So your elbows are out slightly to give yourself that room. And being able to have that room to breathe, breathing in and out without obstruction, helps us to allow our experiences and thoughts and emotions move in and out as well during this meditation. We allow our breath to come in and go out. And similarly, the thoughts that come through our head, they go in, they go out, and we don't bother with them. But when we collapse in on ourselves, that can make it easier to get stuck and mired in some train of thought or some emotion. So we sit up straight, and your hands are in your lap, gently relaxed, and your eyes are going to remain open, looking downwards. You can imagine another line going down the bridge of your nose, down, down, down to the ground, and just find a place along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue gently behind your front teeth. And allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Whatever your natural pace is. And then put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. When thoughts come up, thoughts are definitely going to come up during your meditation, but just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. You don't even have to look to see what they are. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So when you find yourself hooked by a thought and following it along, you forget about your breath, remember your breath, and then come back. So anytime you find yourself following a thought or you've forgotten to focus on your breath, just come back to the breath. Just let go whatever's distracted you and come back to the breath. And if it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you can imagine picking them up with tongs and dropping them, or you could imagine cutting them up with scissors and throwing them away. But you always return to that single-pointed concentration, that gossamer thin attention on your breath. So we'll start with a 5-minute meditation for our first round. So that's just our first round of meditation. Even just doing 5 minutes of meditation like that on a regular basis really makes a difference in the loosening the habitual reactions of your mind and loosening that the tightness in our minds. Even if you can just meditate for 1 minute like that every day, it makes a big difference. And it's definitely good to sit for longer sessions, but at first it's best to start with very, very short meditation sessions, and so that you're kind of hungry for more. You don't burn yourself out. You want to still want to meditate again tomorrow. And if you sit down and try to meditate for 2 hours when you're first starting, you might never want to sit down and meditate again. So that'd be really boring, and your butt will hurt. So so you have to get used to sitting for a long period of time. So something too about this meditation is, it requires self-honesty, because you might want to be some great meditator and you want people to know that you sit for an hour every day or something like that, But you have to know on the inside whether you're meditating or not during that time when you're sitting there. Because it's really easy to sit still for an hour and do whatever nonsense in your head you normally do, and you're watching the circus of your own mind, and just letting the monkeys run wild. And everyone else can look like, oh, you're so peaceful, you're a meditator. So you have to know whether or not you're actually meditating when you're sitting there, and be honest about that. It's very easy to kind of fall into just kind of a sleepy mode, just kind of go to sleep and space out, zone out when you're meditating, and it's very relaxing to meditate, so it's very easy to do that. So it's important to remember that the quality of wakefulness, we're not just trying to relax, we're trying to wake up. And so so when you're meditating, if you find yourself getting really like comfy, cozy, kind of sleepy in your meditation, you can, one thing you can do is you can kind of reignite that compassionate motivation. You can come back to the reason that you're meditating and say, hey, wait, this is really important. I'm doing this for the benefit of all beings. I'm doing this for my own enlightenment so I can benefit all beings. I've decided this is very important. I'm going to focus. You can come back to that motivation. You can also, a practical tip is, where your drishti, which is your point of focus, where you're focusing your eyes. If you're feeling sleepy, you can raise that point of focus a little bit. And so you're letting a little bit more light into your eyes, and that will help keep you more awake. And if your mind's too wild and running crazy, you can try lowering your gaze to let less light into your eyes. Your eyes are still open, but they're more closed, and that helps kind of calm that mental energy some. So those are some tips. And we'll do a longer meditation session now. Sit for a little bit longer. So I'm going to set the timer. Okay. So I'll sit with our straight back, hands in your lap, eyes are relaxed and gazing gently downwards. You can imagine that line going down the bridge of your nose, down to the floor, and find a place along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And relax completely and breathe naturally, your own natural rhythm. Then put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe as you normally would. And just put the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it. You don't try to change it in any way. You just observe it. And if you move away from the breath, get caught up in your thoughts, just let them go and come back to your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Okay, so then we're gonna end by saying the dedication prayers. Do you need a copy of the dedication prayers? Okay. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms.